Hi there, welcome back. Today's book review is on Freedom Dreams, The Black Radical Imagination by Robin D.G. Kelley. So the blurb on the back says, Kelley unearths freedom dreams in this exciting history of renegade intellectuals and artists of the African diaspora in the 20th century. Focusing on the visions of activists from C.L.R. James to Aimé Césaire and Malcolm X, he writes of the hope that communism offered, the mindscapes of surrealism, the transformative potential of radical feminism, and of the 400-year-old dream of reparations for slavery and Jim Crow. From the preeminent historian of Black popular culture, an inspiring work on the power of imagination to transform society. Alright, and then of course, all of these types of books have reviews on the back, and down here it gives a little information about the author. Robin D.G. Kelley, a frequent contributor to the New York Times, is a professor of history and Africana studies at NYU and author of Hammer and Hoe, Race Rebels, and Your Mama's Dysfunctional. He lives in New York City. So this book was released in 2002, so it's about 15 years old, give or take, depending on when it came out in 2002. So it's not a new book, but I'll get to why I decided to review it anyway. And most likely I won't always review new books. They might have like a few years on them, and I just wanted to review them anyway. The preface is 4 pages. The rest of the book, minus the sources, index, acknowledgments, is 198 pages, so I ended up reading 202 pages in total. Alright, so some pros. First pro is that it's packed with information. So if you go to the sources, that starts on page 199 and it goes to page 226. So 27 pages of sources. This book is just packed with sources and references. Give or take, any page has about like 5 references to some other work. So if you're looking for something that'll give you a lot of jumping off points, this book is good for that. Second pro is that the 3 pages at the end of the book, the last chapter, really give you a sense of where the author wants to move forward, which is like a pro and a con. I'll talk about why it's a con in a second, but I kind of like that after all the information that he gives us, he ends it on kind of a positive note, kind of like, this is where we were and this is how I imagine us moving forward. Third pro, so as I said, it's not a new book, about 15 years old, but it's still super relevant to what's happening in our country right now and what has been happening and what will probably continue to happen. So if you're looking for a book that has connections to the past, and if you want to see the similarities to what was happening during the Black liberation movements in the 1960s, for example, in comparison to what's happening now, this is a great book for that. Now on to the cons of the book. First con is that it felt like a history textbook with no cohesive train of thought. I didn't get this, so I could feel like I was reading a history book. I will say that I got to page 160 maybe, and I really wanted the book to be over. I kind of had to force myself to plow through it. It's really, really dense. So it's packed with information, but at the same time it's dense. I felt as if the author was just throwing references at me, just throwing a bunch of information at me and not really taking the time to dissect all of it. I understand that, you know, as an author you can't dissect every resource that you put in a book, but at the same time maybe you should then try to have less resources. I was only reading it for about a week. There was one day where I just stopped reading and I had no motivation to pick this book up. It's 202 pages, but it should not have taken me that long to read this book. Also, the margins are really thick, and I'm not a slow reader. This just became slightly unbearable to keep going. I got to page 160 something and I wanted to throw it across the room. My final con is kind of, I mean, it's a book review, so it's all a critique, but my major critique is that it felt like a huge regurgitation of other people's thoughts and research. What I was really hoping this book would give me is new and fresh ideas. I'm all for looking to the past to know where we need to go, and I was hoping that this book was going to do that, and it feels as if the author was trying to do that, but they fell short. They gave me the past but made no connection to the present. I would have been perfectly content if there was less historical context and more connections to the present. And to be quite honest, it felt like Kelly, the author, was trying to cram every single Black liberation movement there ever was into a single book, which is literally impossible. There is one quote, however, that I really enjoyed, and it kind of gives me what I wanted for the book the entire time, kind of bringing it forward. It reads, "Struggle is par for the course when our dreams go into action. But unless we have the space to imagine and a vision of what it needs fully to realize our humanity, all the protests and demonstrations in the world won't bring about our liberation." I realized that should have been the thesis for this entire book. Going into it, I really thought that's what he was going for, but he fell short. So I would give it 3 out of 5 bookmarks. It's not a horrible book, but I probably won't ever read it again, just to be completely honest. I'm not completely sure if I'd recommend it to a friend. I think I'd recommend it to a friend who's looking for the history of Black liberation movements and how they intersect with communism, radical feminism, surrealism, and reparations. Definitely, if they're looking for that historical context in a single book with a lot of references to jump off of. But if my friend is looking for something with fresh ideas, new ideas that connects the past to the present, or to 2002, because that's when it was released, then I would not recommend this book for them, because this is not what this book is for. It gives the impression that it's going to make connections to the present, but it doesn't. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please leave suggestions of books that I should read and review in the comment section. I'm always looking for books to review. It's probably why I'm broke. Whatever. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. You can check out my last YouTube video. I will leave links. You can also check out my blog, casualanxiety.com, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye. You can also check out my blog, Casual Anxiety. I will also leave links. What are you doing? You can also check out my blog, What? Shh. You can also check out my blog, casualanxiety.com, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Hey.